He ruled his empire with ice in his veins. She walked in with fire in her soul. When two worlds collided in the heart of Seoul, no one expected what would happen next. This is a story about power, prejudice, and a love that refused to be silenced. Buckle up because you won't be able to look away. In the tallest building in Seoul worked a man everyone feared. His name was Daniel Park, half Korean and half American, and he was known as the cruelest CEO in the city. Daniel didn't believe in pleasantries or second chances. He fired people over minor mistakes and never bothered to learn anyone's name unless they were important. His office was like a freezer, not just because of the air conditioning but because of the man who sat behind the desk. Cold. Silent. Untouchable. Then everything changed when Priscilla walked through those glass doors. She came all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, hired as his new executive assistant. Priscilla was everything Daniel was not. Her laughter echoed through hallways. Her colorful dresses brought life to the gray corporate walls. She said good morning to the janitors and remembered everyone's birthdays. People weren't sure how long she'd last. No one ever lasted long with Daniel Park. On her first day, Daniel barely looked at her. He shoved a pile of folders onto her desk and said, "Get it done by noon." No hello. No introduction. Just orders. Priscilla didn't flinch. She smiled and got to work. By 11:30, every file was organized, every meeting was confirmed, and his coffee sat steaming on his desk exactly how he liked it. He glanced at it, then at her, and said nothing. But something flickered in his eyes. Surprise maybe. Days turned into weeks. Priscilla kept showing up with her bright energy. She hummed while she worked. She brought him lunch when he forgot to eat. She reminded him gently when he was being too harsh with the staff. Daniel tried to ignore her, but it was like trying to ignore the sun. Impossible. One afternoon, he lost an important contract document right before a major presentation. Panic set in, though he'd never show it. Priscilla appeared at his side, document in hand, calm as ever. "Looking for this?" she asked. The presentation was saved. He stared at her afterward and muttered, "You're efficient." It wasn't a compliment, but coming from him, it felt like one. Slowly, the ice began to crack. Daniel stopped slamming doors. He started saying please and thank you. Employees whispered about the change. Is he sick? Did something happen? One night, a storm hit Seoul hard. Rain poured like someone had opened the sky. Priscilla stood at the lobby entrance, staring at the flood outside. She'd forgotten her umbrella. Daniel appeared beside her, umbrella in hand. "Come on," he said. They walked together under his umbrella, close enough that their shoulders touched. She told him about growing up in Lagos, about her mother's restaurant and her brother's dreams of becoming a doctor. He told her about his childhood split between two countries, never quite fitting into either. For the first time in years, Daniel felt like someone actually saw him. Not the CEO. Not the scary boss. Just him. But not everyone was pleased. Some people in the company started to resent Priscilla. How did she get so close to the boss? Who does she think she is? A senior manager named Jisoo hated seeing Daniel soften. She thought Priscilla was manipulating him. One day, Priscilla found a cruel note slipped under her keyboard. "You don't belong here. Go back where you came from." Her hands shook as she read it. She folded the note carefully and put it in her bag. That night she cried alone in her apartment. She didn't want to cause problems for Daniel. He'd been changing, becoming a better person. She didn't want to be the reason things fell apart again. But Daniel noticed. He always noticed her now. The next morning, her smile didn't reach her eyes. "What happened?" he asked, voice low. "Nothing," she lied. "Priscilla." His tone left no room for lies. She hesitated, then handed him the note. His jaw tightened. The cold Daniel everyone feared came roaring back, but this time it wasn't aimed at her. It was aimed at whoever dared hurt her. And he wasn't going to let it slide. The next morning, Daniel called an emergency meeting. Every single employee was required to attend. The conference room filled quickly, confusion written on every face. Priscilla sat near the door, wishing she could disappear. Daniel entered, his presence commanding instant silence. He didn't waste time. "Someone in this building thinks it's acceptable to send threatening messages to my staff," he began. "Someone believes they have the right to make others feel unwelcome because of where they come from." His voice was sharp as glass. "Let me be clear. I don't tolerate racism. I don't tolerate bullying. And if you think nationality determines someone's worth, you're not smart enough to work here." He turned his gaze across the room until it landed on Priscilla. "Priscilla has brought more value to this company in 2 months than some of you have in 2 years. She's smart. She's dedicated. She treats people with dignity. If you have a problem with her, the problem is you." The room stayed frozen. "If anyone else wants to write nasty notes or spread poison, save me the trouble and resign now." No one moved. No one spoke. Daniel left the room without another word. Priscilla sat there, heart pounding, tears threatening to spill. After that, the office atmosphere shifted. People started greeting her warmly. Some even apologized quietly. Jisoo avoided her completely. But something deeper was shifting too. Late-night work sessions turned into conversations about life, fear, and dreams. Priscilla told Daniel about her father, a kind man who'd passed away helping his community during a crisis. She told him she'd promised to carry his light wherever she went. Daniel told her about his mother, who'd loved him fiercely but died too young. He told her how he'd built walls so high no one could climb them. Until now. Until her. He didn't plan to fall for her. But every time she laughed, his heart forgot how to stay guarded. Every time she looked at him with those warm, fearless eyes, he felt himself unraveling. One evening as they walked out together, Priscilla stopped. The Seoul sky was painted gold and violet, breathtaking and fleeting. "Why did you stand up for me like that?" she asked quietly. Daniel turned to her, really looked at her. "Because losing you would hurt more than losing anything else." Her breath caught. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. It was his father. Daniel's face changed the moment he answered. His father's voice was sharp, angry, final. "End whatever this is with that girl, Daniel. Now. Or I'll pull every resource. You'll lose the company. You'll lose everything." The call ended. Daniel stood there, staring at nothing. And just like that, everything between them became a battlefield. The days after that call were unbearable. Daniel stopped texting. Stopped calling. Stopped looking at her during meetings. Priscilla tried to stay professional, but every ignored glance cut deeper. She didn't understand. Had she imagined everything? One evening, she couldn't take it anymore. She walked straight into his office and closed the door. "Why are you shutting me out?" she demanded. Daniel didn't look up. "I'm just focused on work." "That's a lie," she shot back. "Tell me the truth, Daniel." He finally looked at her, exhaustion carved into his face. "My father called. He told me to end this. Whatever this is between us. He said if I don't, he'll destroy everything I've built." Priscilla felt her world tilt. "So you're just going to obey him?" Daniel stood and walked to the window. "I didn't obey him," he said quietly. "I've been planning." "Planning what?" "A way out. I've been building my own company. Separate from my father. It's small right now, but it's mine. I didn't want to tell you until I knew it would work. I didn't want to drag you into a war you didn't sign up for." Priscilla's eyes filled with tears. "You're doing this for us?" He turned to face her. "I'm doing this because a life without you isn't a life I want anymore." Her breath hitched. "So what happens now?" Daniel reached into his jacket and pulled out a small velvet box. Inside was a delicate ring. "Now I ask you to take a leap with me. Build something new. Something real. Will you?" Priscilla's tears spilled over, but her smile was radiant. "Yes." They held each other then, two people from opposite sides of the world finding home in each other's arms. And from that moment on, they didn't just survive the storm. They built an empire together. One rooted in respect, love, and the belief that where you're from doesn't matter nearly as much as who you choose to become. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment below telling us what you thought. Subscribe so you never miss another story like this one. Thank you for watching.